Please take your seats. I would like to advise all those present that notice of this regular meeting of January 17th, 2024 has been provided to the public in accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meeting Act of the State of New Jersey. Notice of time and place of this meeting, which has been included in the annual notice of meetings, which was posted and filed with the city clerk and with the Jersey Journal and the Star Ledger. An additional notice of time and place was posted and filed with the city clerk and was forwarded to the Jersey Journal and Star Ledger on January 12th, 2024. The regular meeting of the Municipal Council of the City of Bayonne is now in session. Ms. Medina, please call the roll.
Mr. Booker?
Here.
Mr. Carroll?
Here.
Mr. Perez?
Here.
Ms. Weimer?
Here.
Mr. La Palusa?
Here, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our first item is an ordinance of the City of Bayonne, County of Hudson, New Jersey, approving a 5-year tax agreement with the Building on B LLC for the property located at 140 Avenue B, which is identified as Block 84, Lot 6.01, as shown on the official tax map of the city, which was introduced to pass the first reading at the meeting held December 13, 2023, was published in the Jersey Journal and posted on the bulletin boards required by law, with notice that it would be further considered for final passage following a public hearing at this meeting of June 17, 2024, is now before the council for its consideration and a public hearing. And a resolution moved by the council president giving the ordinance second reading. Ms. Weimer, will you second?
Second.
And on that resolution, Mr. Booker.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
Second reading is by title, an ordinance of the City of Bayonne, County of Hudson, New Jersey, approving a 5-year tax agreement with the Building on B LLC for the property located at 140 Avenue B, which is identified as Block 84, Lot 6.01, as shown on the official tax map of the city. The council is now ready to give all persons interested in this ordinance an opportunity to be heard concerning it. The council president will recognize anyone who wishes to speak. No protest against, objections to, or statements in favor of this ordinance or its passage has been filed with me. May I have a motion to close?
So moved.
And on the motion to close, Mr. Booker.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
And a resolution ordering final passage.
So move.
Second.
And on that resolution, Mr. Booker.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
02 is an ordinance of the City of Bayonne approving the financial agreement by and between the City of Bayonne and Bayview LLC for the property located at 175 Avenue Way, which is identified as Block 300.01, Lots 1, 2, and 3, Block 301.03, Lots 2 and 3, as shown on the official tax map of the city, which was introduced and passed the first reading at the meeting held December 13, 2023, was published in the Jersey Journal and posted on the bulletin boards required by law, with notice that it would be further considered for final passage following a public hearing at this meeting of January 17th, is now before the council for its consideration and a public hearing. And a resolution moved by the council president giving the ordinance second reading. Mr. Booker, will you second?
Second.
And on the resolution, Mr. Booker.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
Second reading is by title, an ordinance of the City of Bayonne, County of Hudson, New Jersey, approving a financial agreement by and between the City of Bayonne and Bayview LLC for the property located at 175 Avenue A, which is identified as Block 300.01, Lots 1, 2, and 3, and Block 301.03, Lots 2 and 3, as shown on the official tax map of the city. The council is now ready to give all persons interested in this ordinance an opportunity to be heard concerning it. The council president will recognize anyone who wishes to speak. With that, no protest against, objections to, or statements in favor of this ordinance or its passage has been filed with me. May I have a motion to close?
Move it.
Second.
And on the motion to close, Mr. Booker.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye, but Madeline, before we take the final vote, I'd like to ask Mr. Skillender to come to the microphone, and the council has some questions. We'll start with Mr. Carroll.
I'd like a little bit more clarification as it relates to, there's going to be a improvement to the water system. Would you elaborate?
So part of the improvement as a condition of site plan approval, they have to, the developer has to build storage tanks that will hold sanitary, water in the event of a rainstorm. So that's condition one. The second thing is a global picture of all the development going on within the area, that the developments being proposed on that corridor next to 440 and North Street. There will have to be a interceptor that will be built, connecting the North Street pump station to Avenue E that will connect to our Oak Street facility.
What is the relationship between that interceptor and this project?
For the project, for the interceptors to have capacity, within the system. So just for clarity's sake on this, that the applicant, the developer in this one already has the water, the Passaic Valley treatment water application permit, so they have already certified that they have the capacity right now for the current system. But with the other development going on, and given how substantial this development, 26 North Street, Nasarima, and some other projects being built, within the first ward, we felt that it's best that, this interceptor be, built, and that really this project and helping the finances of it, be out-
Optimistic that this is not the project, not the development, but the interceptor will be built within a reasonable amount of time.
I am very optimistic on that. We've already done preliminary cost estimates on that. It's about $10 million for a pump station upgrade, and along with the building of a force main and then a gravity-fed main to connect into our current infrastructure there. The other thing, too, is also with this interceptor, it will divert some of the flooding from Cottage Street and to First Street. So again, it's helping along with the long-term control plan. So with all those different factors in place there, I do feel that the interceptor is a benefit to the city, to the to the residents of Bayonne. But for this project not being in place, I don't really see that that interceptor ever being built, if that's my honest opinion.
Mr. Skillner, I think one of the questions that both myself and Mr. Carroll were asking was, there's nothing in the financial agreement that holds them to build it in a certain amount of time.
Well,
So they have 50 years on the financial agreement. We really don't want to see this in year 49.
Well, again, the financial agreements don't speak to a lot of the off-site improvements, especially the financial agreement's not going to speak to the waterfront improvements. That's a condition of the redevelopment agreement. To the contribution to the traffic light that that's to go on Avenue A. Again, that's part of the redevelopment agreement. The site plan for the planning board on the storage tanks, which it will help our long-term control plan, that's in the planning board. What the financial agreement here is the funding mechanism to the bank that can help facilitate those, public-private partnership improvements.
I understand what you said, but was there something I missed in the redevelopment agreement that set a time limit for them to do that?
In the redevelopment agreement, no on that, but in order for...
Because that was my question that Mr. Carroll and I both asked.
Sure. So in the redevelopment agreement, because the project is still being designed by the city of Bayonne on it, and it's in its preliminary, stages, we have preliminary drawings, we still have to do some other environmental and engineering reports on that for it. So we don't have a good time frame on that, but with the to tie them to specific projects and make them conditions of, in the redevelopment agreement or the redevelopment site plan. Again, that would be in the planning board's jurisdiction on that, but for the city to push, to have this done, it's really the city's taking on that because it will add to our capacity and to the rate holders. So when we have our utility that was approved a couple council meetings ago, for the funding mechanism, that's one mechanism to help fund this $10 million project. There are other mechanisms, too, where we could do a special assessment on that to fund it on each of the properties that would be going to contribute to that. We're just looking at it, what's the best way that is less impactful to the, the city's budget at this point.
We're going to be watching this carefully because we'd rather see it done sooner than later.
So I wonder, does that project have representation here this evening?
Yes.
Okay, so I wonder if we might not get a gentleman's agreement, gentlewoman's, term used loosely, if, together, that might say we could put within the redevelopment plan that, let's say, within the first 5 years, those upgrades would be made. Is that something that is fair? And I don't necessarily know the length of time necessary to make those upgrades. It's just some language I thought might be possible.
Well, part of the concerns that, I would express to the council on this, that because this project is going to Nasarima, which is also represented here by Mr. Posada, he will be affected by that. 26 North Street would be also affected by that. There's several other developers.
Contributing parties, I see, I
So
understand.
to tie to one and not the others in that, like, Bayview right now is the first, with the close second with Nasarima behind that, of the 6 or 7 projects that we've identified. So there's some being proposed on Broadway right now that would also have to contribute to that, some on Avenue E. So this is a bigger, project outside of.
Right, so forgive me, but if we're the governing council, one might say that that same contingent language might be added into every redevelopment agreement.
Sure.
Mr. Maselli.
Council President. So, as Mr. Skillender said, our project has reserved capacity already. So what that means is our system's fine for all 1,100 units, which probably won't come online it's not going to be tomorrow that all 1,100 units come online. So it's going to be a staged thing. But in any event, we have reserved capacity for the entire 1,100 unit project. That being said, we know that the city needs, and so we're good. Our project's fine, as is. We understand that there's a problem in the area, and we want to be good guys. We've given so much. We would hate to see the area around us fail because it doesn't have proper stormwater infrastructure. So we are willing to sit, once the city figures out how much it costs, how it's going to be financed, and discuss a contribution, again, without committing to an exact number, because we don't have to technically do anything. I don't want to say that we're not going to do that. We're not going to fold our arms and say, no, we're not going to pay a dime. We're going to try, we're going to work with the city out. There are other mechanisms besides redevelopment agreements, and I know we've discussed this. The city can put a special assessment on that improvement, and all the people who tie into that can be charged back for that, and we can pay for it that way. There are various different ways to finance this and to pay for this. We will absolutely participate in that and work with the city to kick some money in to help the neighborhood.
I see,
Like I said,
I
even though we
understand.
have already reserved our capacity, we're willing to do that.
Yep,
And
thank you, Mike.
Mr. Maselli, before I lose you, I understand that the interceptor is essentially on our end, that it's up to us, it's being designed, et cetera, and so forth. On your end, the Second Ward Councilwoman talked about an agreement. I understand that there was going to be park improvements as well as waterfront improvements.
Correct.
And that's going to be the first thing accomplished before the first floor goes up on anything.
I think that's all going to be built together as part of the first phase. We had agreed to do all the pretty stuff along with it so that you weren't waiting for, you have a building and then, 3/4 of a waterfront walkway and a half a park. This way, you have the roads, you have the parks, you have the waterfront walkway. The people of Bayonne can enjoy that from the beginning. And that was the goal, and
So we can anticipate that that's going to still be the plan.
that's going to still be the case. Yeah, we're going to do that all as part of phase one, and it might be coincident with the construction of the first building, so all that stuff might not be in until that first building's, under construction or done, but it will be part of that first phase. So, yes, we've made that commitment before, and we'll make it again here.
Nice. Mrs. Maselli, you and I have had our moments at these meetings, but tonight, it's actually going to be our director.
Oh, no.
Oh, boy. Director Skillender. This project is enormous. There's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of elements to it that are going to be incredibly positive, not just to that neighborhood, but if all goes according to spec, it's It's going to improve the lives of an entirely other neighborhood on Cottage Street. So when we ask about timelines, when the storms come, I want you to come down and stand in the waist-deep water with me at Cottage Street Park, every time until this thing is built, because that's what they're waiting for.
Yes.
And there was also improvements to Cottage Street Park that's been talked about at several meetings. Ms. Mack's not in the audience tonight, but she addressed it several times. I want to see those improvements done as well, because until this interceptor gets built, those people need relief.
Yes, so on some of those topics, we do have the brick applications out to help solve the Cottage Street project. We've been lobbying the DEP with the Green Acres requirements to help have a tank underneath Cottage Street for that. So, we've been doing some efforts to help alleviate, the flooding in that area. And then also, again, just on, and I know I'm going off topic here for this, but for the council's sake for here, even with the improvements from the film studio, they have to do a contribution, to the system, for us taking a real long look at, our long-term control plan. And again, it's not to, I know we want to solve for all these problems, but there are going to be a lot of, little steps that help mitigate them. So this interceptor is going to be one of them. The contributions to that the film studio are doing, each of the development sites holding, their sanitary on-site. Like, those are all stuff that help, with our long-term control plan to help mitigate the flooding, for us to start getting the brick grants to do the improvements to the systems out there. So there's a multifaceted prong on these developments this way for the infrastructure.
The way I approach looking at this is that there's a huge bill
Yeah.
that is going to come due with this long-term control plan. So if you can chip away at it, this is, I believe, like $16 million in improvements.
Yeah.
Nasarema has, I don't know how many
Yeah,
millions, but several millions.
There's several millions.
So this is how you start chipping away at that large number.
Yeah.
And it's something that everybody in Bayonne is going to have to look at.
Director,
Yeah.
what would you anticipate is how long it's going to take us to finalize our assessment and our plan? Now that we realize that that project moving forward is contingent upon us finalizing our assessment and a plan.
The long-term control plan is still in the works on that. We are still doing our infrastructure study. Last year, the council authorized one of the engineering companies to look and evaluate our
Right.
systems on that. But it's a year-long process on just evaluating, gathering the data on our stormwater capacity, and then, but in the interim too, while we have some preliminary data, we could help improve the systems and the model that we have to help with the flooding, to help understand for some of the sites going on when we have to separate our stormwater and our sanitary.
All right, so
from
if
that.
you're saying it's a year-long process, which I can appreciate, to gather the information, and then is it fair to say it could perhaps take another year to put together an assessment and a recommendation, and then obviously a proposed plan for all involved?
Well, on the long-term control plan, I don't want to speak out of turn. That's being handled by municipal services. And, our special counsel with Joe Nichols on that.
Yep.
So they are been actively monitoring that situation. I mean, they have almost weekly calls on that. So they've been very, proactive in that regard to understand our infrastructure and the needs for it. But at the same point, too, if we just start studying the needs, and while we have, a lot of bills coming due for it, because as Council President LaPalooza has mentioned, this long-term control plan, some of the estimates, on the cheap side, and I say that
It's hundreds of millions.
it's like 300 million on the cheap side.
So even chipping
Familiar.
away is a good
Yeah.
thing.
All right, so it's obviously a difficult assessment and project.
Yeah.
That we know, obviously, that we're committed to, quite honestly, that we're bound to, so it's obviously something we have to do. Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
And we're fortunate in, some regards to have, the development community, help out the residents.
That's right.
Of the rest of Bayonne, with projects like this. And while, again, it's not, specifically written into the financial agreements, there are other agreements and approvals, that will help bound them, and other funding mechanisms that can be used to fund the projects in
Okay.
that regard.
All right. Thank you, Director.
And now we have a resolution for final passage.
So moved. Second.
And on that resolution, Mr. Booker.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
I vote aye because I believe, as I said earlier, that this is going to improve a huge portion of downtown, not just the area that it's in. It's also offset from the road. I've had issues with development, and now it seems to have come for downtown, which is okay, as long as it's situations like this, where these large developments are in their offset in their own sections, essentially, not towering over a neighborhood of two-family homes. And as I said to the director, this simply must move faster than a small tank on Cottage Street, which we're waiting over 2 years for. So those improvements on our end, which our information will come through you and various other departments, that's got to be constantly updated so that we know what's going on. And as the area is going to be improved with the public aspects in mind first, I think this is I vote aye.
Mr. Perez.
I agree with Councilman Carroll here. It's a great project, to my understanding, and it's going to improve the overall area where this has been happening constantly, where you get floods, and this is going to improve people's living in that area. So I vote aye.
Ms. Weimer.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Again, it's going to change the quality of life for people who have to live with flooding now. It chips away at that large bill that will come due somewhere down the road. And I think it's a good project. I think even where the buildings are going, it's set back away from the roadway. And I'm in favor of this, and I vote aye.
03 is an ordinance approving a financial agreement by and between the City of Bayonne and Bayonne Luxury Water Walk Urban Renewal LLC for the property located at 211-219 West Fifth Street, which is identified as Block 301.01, Lots 1 and 6, as shown on the official tax map of the city, which was introduced and passed the first reading at meeting held December 13th, was published in the Jersey Journal and posted on the bulletin board as required by law, with notice that it would be further considered for final passage following a public hearing at this meeting of January 17th, is now before the council for its consideration and a public hearing. And the resolution giving the ordinance second reading is moved by the council president. Mr. Perez, will you second?
Second.
And on that resolution, Mr. Booker.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
Second reading is by title, an ordinance of the City of Bayonne, County of Hudson, New Jersey, approving a financial agreement by and between the City of Bayonne and Bayonne Luxury Water Walk Urban Renewal LLC for the property located at 211-219 West Fifth Street, which is identified as Block 301.01, Lots 1 and 6, as shown on the official tax map of the city. The council is now ready to give all persons interested in this ordinance an opportunity to be heard concerning it. The council president will recognize anyone who wishes to speak. No protest against, objections to, or statements in favor of this ordinance or its passage has been filed with me. May I have a motion to close?
So move.
And on the motion to close, Mr. Booker.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
And a resolution ordering final passage.
So move. Second.
And on that resolution, Mr. Booker.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
04 is an ordinance approving an amended financial agreement by and between the City of Bayonne and TFG 115-117 West Second Street Urban Renewal LLC for the property located at 115-17 West Second Street, which is identified as Block 365, Lot 9, as shown on the official tax map of the city, subject to the determination of how the units will be valued and owned by virtue of an amended master deed, which was introduced and passed the first reading at the meeting held December 15th, was published in the Jersey Journal and posted on the bulletin board as required by law. Notice that it would be further considered for final passage following a public hearing at this meeting of January 17th, is now before the council for its consideration and a public hearing. And a resolution giving the ordinance second reading is moved by Councilmember Perez. Mr. La Palusa, will you second?
Second.
And on that resolution, Mr. Booker.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye. Second
Second reading is by title, an ordinance approving the amended financial agreement by and between the City of Bayonne and TFG 115-117 West 2nd Street Urban Renewal LLC for the property located at 115-117 West 2nd Street, which is identified as Block 365, Lot 9, as shown on the official tax map of the City of Bayonne. And the council is now ready to give all persons interested in this ordinance an opportunity to be heard concerning it. The council president will recognize anyone who wishes to speak. No protest against, objections to, or statements in favor of this ordinance or its passage has been filed with me. May I have a motion to close?
Move it.
Second.
And on the motion to close, Mr. Booker.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
And a resolution ordering final.
Move it.
Second.
And on that resolution, Mr. Booker.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
05 is an ordinance amending and supplementing the revised general ordinances of the City of Bayonne, Chapter 33, Planning and Development Regulations, which was introduced and passed the first reading at the meeting held December 13th, was published in the Jersey Journal and posted on the bulletin board as required by law, with notice that it would be further considered for final passage following a public hearing at this meeting of January 17th, is now before the council for its consideration and a public hearing. And a resolution giving the ordinance second reading is moved by the council president. Mr. Perez, will you second?
Second.
And on that resolution, Mr. Booker.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
Second reading is by title, an ordinance amending and supplementing the revised general ordinances of the City of Bayonne, Chapter 33, Planning and Development Regulations. The council is now ready to give all persons interested in this ordinance an opportunity to be heard concerning it. The council president will recognize anyone who wishes to speak. No protest against, objections to, or statements in favor of this ordinance or its passage has been filed with me. May I have a motion to close?
Move it.
Second.
On the motion to close, Mr. Booker.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
And a resolution ordering final passage.
Move it.
Second.
And on that resolution, Mr. Booker.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
06 is an ordinance amending and supplementing the revised general ordinances of the City of Bayonne, Chapter 16, Rent Control, which was introduced and passed the first reading at a meeting held December 13th, 2023, was published in the Jersey Journal and posted on the bulletin board as required by law, with notice that it would be further considered for final passage following a public hearing at this meeting of January 17th, is now before the council for its consideration and a public hearing. And a resolution moved by the council president giving the ordinance second reading. Mr. Perez, will you second?
Second.
And on that resolution, Mr. Booker.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
Second reading is by title, an ordinance amending and supplementing the revised general ordinances of the City of Bayonne, Chapter 16, Rent Control. And the council is now ready to give all persons interested in this ordinance an opportunity to be heard concerning it. The council president will recognize anyone who wishes to speak. No protest against, objections to, or statements in favor of this ordinance or its passage has been filed with me. May I have a motion to close?
So moved.
And on the motion to close, Mr. Booker.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
And a resolution ordering final passage.
Move it.
And on that resolution, Mr. Booker.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
I would just add this. I mean, at several meetings now I've spoken about, it's no secret, I'd like to do something to amend this current ordinance to expand it, not in its current form, but to make certain changes. And we essentially vote every year unanimously to extend this, which to me demonstrates that we believe in the principles of the ordinance. And if that is the case, and if the vote is aye tonight, I hope that signals an understanding that this will help. If we make some changes, it has the capacity, the potential to help tens of thousands of residents throughout the city. Further, we're in January, and there were people that made a choice between putting something under the tree and making January's rent payment. And so as we go forward, we have to think about those people. We have to think about the nurses, some of whom came at the last meeting, the nurses who come off a 36-hour shift and then have to drive an hour and a half to their home because they can't afford the rent, or they know that they've got a year left on their lease and they have no idea what the rent might be next year. So we have, an aye vote on this extension, I think, just demonstrates that there is something in all our hearts that's an understanding of what good this ordinance does and how potentially making some alterations going forward might benefit many thousands. So I vote aye.
Mr. Perez?
Aye.
Ms. Weimer?
Aye.
And Mr. La Palusa?
Aye.
07 is an ordinance amending and supplementing the revised general ordinances of the City of Bayonne, Chapter 7, Traffic, which was introduced and passed the first reading at the meeting held December 13th, was published in the Jersey Journal and posted on the bulletin boards required by law, with notice that it would be further considered for final passage. Following a public hearing at this meeting of January 17th, is now before the council for its consideration and a public hearing. And a resolution giving the ordinance second reading is moved by Councilman Carroll. Mr. Booker, will you second?
Second.
And on that resolution, Mr. Booker.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
And second reading is by title, an ordinance amending and supplementing the revised general ordinances of the City of Bayonne, Chapter 7, Traffic. The council is now ready to give all persons interested in this ordinance an opportunity to be heard concerning it. The council president will recognize anyone who wishes to speak. No protest against, objections to, or statements in favor of this ordinance or its passage has been filed with me. May I have a motion to close?
So moved.
On the motion to close, Mr. Booker. Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
And a resolution ordering final passage.
moved.
On that resolution, Mr. Booker.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
Our first speaker is Mr. Solari.
Good evening. Sorry. I just want to thank Gary LaPalooza and Neil Carroll, who took a lot of jabs on my brother. You were a scholar and a gentleman for showing up. I loved it. So did my brother. You see, he laughed. You had 400-plus people. Bayonne Police Department, Fire Department, friends. He went out like he wanted to. I couldn't ask for a better bunch of people. People that knew my brother for 35-plus years. Mr. Booker. William Sampson showed. Appreciated that. Sharon Nadrowski, past president. Sal Galais. Nobody from this city council, other than Neil Carroll, who took more blows than all of you, showed up at my brother's wake. Gary even took blows. Gary's been taking blows for 40-plus years. And
From your whole family, too, by the
the
way.
whole family. Jay, he took it from baseball. But like I said, Booker walked the beat up on 53rd Street when we were kids. Our trustee mayor, who also walked the beat up at 53rd Street. And we know Jimmy for a long time. Never showed. Didn't show respect to my family. And I have no respect for them. And I'm going to follow my brother's footsteps. I'm going to be coming to every meeting. And I don't care what's going on. If I see you doing something wrong, I'm going at you. Just like my brother would say. And if you listen to the voice, that's what you're hearing. I look like him, and I'm gonna sound like him. So I'm just gonna let you know now. The little brother's coming in. I just want to thank you and you. Gary Shemaluski and his family showed. Like I said, we had a good turnout with the police department showing up. Some firemen that knew my family, they showed. And 400 plus other people. I know some people on the council, Jay had other things he had to attend to, which is expected. I don't know what you were doing, but I expected to see the council.
Excuse me, Mr. Slurry, if I may step in, I know it's an emotional time for you right now, and I understand that. I just want to let you know my condolences are to you and your family, okay, and your brother, and I knew him well for a very long time, okay, and I had much respect for your brother. The reason why I did not attend, because I myself had to be out of town with my daughter. I was in Atlanta, Georgia, and it bothered me that I could not attend. So I was waiting for you to get up here to say something so I can extend my condolences to you and your family. I would have never done that if I was in town.
Just like I said, I didn't know what your plans.
No, I understand that, and I just want you to understand, I can't speak for the other council. I'm sure they can say what they have to say for themselves. But I also had another friend who had a loss, also again, and I could not attend because, as everybody says all the time, think about it, just as emotional you are right now, and that is your brother, and I do understand, because I've lost members of my family. The fact of the matter is family first, okay, and you know that. And the fact of the matter is I had to be where my daughter needed me to be.
Correct.
But you have my sincere condolences to your brother. Matter of fact, I want to share one thing just for you and me alone.
Don't
One,
his daughter and sons are listening.
all right, well, they can listen, please.
No, they are.
All right, listen, till this day, all right, I believe it was a year or so ago before we had snow, I was shoveling my car out in front of my house, and your brother was driving by in the car, and he yelled out my name, "Hey, Councilman," and he startled me, and I have a dent on my car right now, and I will not get rid of it because of your brother. All right, I can show it to you if you want to see it. But no, sincerely, I really, I feel what you're saying, and please understand that I would have been there if I could have, because I have much respect for Dave. He took a couple jabs at me my first day, July 20, just to let you know. But
I remember.
my bad. Yeah, you remember. But seriously, thank you.
Tommy, your brother had a very unique way, and you know that, because you've talked about it with me, okay? He would come up here, throw a jab at you. I'll give you a story, okay? Somebody I know was in Palermo's, and he was pretty much bad-mouthing all the council, all the politicians, everybody.
I remember that story.
And then a week and a half later, he saw me in a local restaurant and came over and gave me a big hug and told me he was sorry about my mom, who passed away
Right.
at the end of November. So it's like my brother. I could fight with my brother and call him a jerk, but he's my jerk.
Yep.
I'm not saying your brother was a jerk. I'm just
Yeah,
saying
you can.
he's one of us. You know what I mean? I played Little
But-
League with you and your brother.
Yep.
I know you guys for 40-something years.
Just the perfect wording that you said to my niece
Yeah.
the day on Thursday, that at the end of the day, you could hate them or you could love them, but 99% of the time at the end of the day, you had to love them.
And then when we
He's just one of a
disagreed, I
kind.
told him I disagree with you. You know, it was, but to be honest with you, I wish more people would come to the council meetings and voice their opinions. And if they
Like
want to
him?
throw a jab, we'll throw one back. So it's all right. It's okay.
Don't worry, Neil, you're not going to get any jibs from me.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
I was
sure.
gonna, right, yeah.
Sure.
I was gonna say, I was gonna piggyback on the council president.
Maybe Mike, if you don't put that,
Maybe.
do that project right.
But Tommy, I do want to say one other thing. For people who can't make it, you don't really know what they're going through
No,
in their
that's
lives.
why I said. I
So
don't know
you
what-
shouldn't really be mad at somebody who couldn't make it, because you don't know what they're going through. I myself have been through a real lot, and for a while, after my wife died, after my mother died, it was tough for me to go to another wake. So I did make your brother's, but it's also been
Well, you know,
a
if you
couple
would have wanted
months
you
later.
didn't show.
But I'm just saying, it was difficult for me to
Right.
go to that because of what I went through. So I don't think you should hold a grudge against anybody here, the mayor, or anybody else, because you really don't know what they were doing.
And Mr. Solari, again, you have my deepest condolences also, although I did not know your family. And nor did I know your brother before his first
Right.
jab at Councilman Booker on July 20th.
I know
However-
he took a jab at you.
However, he was always very nice to me, and it was also my intent to attend. However, the other viewing that Councilman Booker missed was a death in my family. So I was dealing with something in my own family and could not attend. Certainly, again, you have my condolences. I know what it
Mine-
is to
mine-
lose
mine
a
to you-
brother.
mine to you
Thank
both
you.
these.
You know, and as I said, it is a very emotional time, and and I too will share a story with you, because my mother, every member of my family, and Lord knows I should own a funeral home somewhere. It would
Think
be a
you
very
all should.
lucrative proposition for me, because my mother refused to have one-day viewings. She called them express viewings, because you never know if someone is going through an extenuating circumstance and can't attend, and she felt that you gave people an ultimatum. So in my old world Italian family, we feel that everyone should cry for the, old world days of 3 or 4 days, and each of my family members were laid out for 3 days and buried on the 4th.
I know how they are.
And there you go. So
We
I,
had it in
again,
my family back in the day.
yeah, and, and for some reason, and my mother's gone 10 years, but for some reason, we couldn't quite get past that, and we still do it. So nevertheless,
On Tuesday, Kevin from Migliaccios, he asked us how many days you want.
and
looked at him.
I just want to
That's it.
point out to you, I will share with you that we couldn't have our viewing because you were having yours.
Oh,
I
yours was
too
Friday.
spoke to
Yours
Kevin.
was on Friday.
Ours, we ended up doing it Saturday because after the viewing, there was another funeral that
Right,
would have
there
been.
was a guy
Yeah,
from
I'm not
Club.
certain. I'm just
No,
going to
there
say
was
there
a
was
guy from
another,
the
but
same club that was
that's
there on
right.
Friday.
So I didn't want to, so we couldn't have it, so we said, okay, well, then we may as well wait until the weekend, so we
Well,
did.
the only
But
reason why we picked Thursday is because they says, well, how many people you think you have? And I says,
a lot.
I said, you got the mayor that's in the casket. You tell me.
Right,
So, and I tell you, if there was another funeral in that room, it would have been chaos.
Yeah.
Neil was like the first family member to walk through. He came in at 3:45. He wanted
Very
to make the mad rush.
Well, you have our.
Thank you,
Absolutely.
I appreciate
As his
it.
children.
Again,
I'll leave you with this. I'm glad you're going to be here to follow in the footsteps. I hope you find your own voice when you come to the microphone.
The voice that you're hearing, it's the same voice
Yeah.
that you heard. Everybody
But
says I
the-
sound like him, I
Don't
look
bring
like him.
Roy with you,
Right.
okay?
Oh, no,
So-
no, he's
The best way, the best way to describe this, though, because, Gary, I got to appreciate what you said. It wasn't easy to walk through the doors, but I walked through the doors because, and this is the only way I can say it, because it's Bayonne. And there's some things that are just the way they are.
I was just going to say, I probably knew your brother the longest. And I think it's built into our DNA here in Bayonne.
That's right.
He's the third generation of people to go to wakes. You go out of town and it's like, I didn't make the wake. If you're from Bayonne and you miss a wake, because in our day, my mother, you said your mom didn't want to want it. My mom would have had 2 weeks. That would have been fine for her. But we ended up doing several days for it. There was a different day back in the day when you had 2-3 days and you could make it to the wakes. It's difficult now, and it takes a little piece out of you when someone, a peer like David, dies, and I can't make the wake. There's a little piece of you, love him or hate him, and with Dave, you could be both at the same time. A little piece of you goes with him, and you didn't get to the. I felt like I didn't get to the wake. I missed that, and I'm going to echo what they said. You really can't, in this day and age, hold it against somebody that didn't make it, unless you know for a fact they chose not to attend, because it's so hard, given our schedules and given the night schedule everybody has, and then everything that's going on in our lives, to make a one-day wake. But I do think it's built into our DNA here in Bayonne. The natural thing is love or hate somebody, to show up at the wake just to show your respect. And I don't know how many places are still like that, but I know Bayonne still is.
And he will be missed.
It's the town of Mulberry.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you. Good night.
Okay.
Mr. Frank? And I must apologize, I didn't start the timer, but in consideration for
That's
David.
okay, yeah. It went back and forth and everybody
Yeah.
spoke, so.
You want to hold them off? You don't want to give them 5 minutes?
What?
You don't want to put them on only 5 minutes, too?
No.
Hello, everybody. My name is Joseph Frank. I'm the Cub Master for Pack 27. This is our We Blow an Arrow of Light class, and we have a bear here also. I want to tell you, thank you so much for everything that you're doing in town. I also want to tell you how proud I am of these young men. We have one of our curriculum is called Building a Better World, where our scouts need to learn about their rights as a citizen, meet with a government or community leader, and discuss an important issue facing your community. And it was something that we probably could have done in a day. And they decided that they wanted to tackle something in town. And what they decided to tackle was, oh, everybody look that way and smile. The issue that they wanted to talk about was a dog park on the west side of town in 16th Street Park. Parents and children alike came out. We went out for a day and we had petitions signed. We had 316 signatures around 16th Street and around everybody's personal homes. So right now, we went down there, we measured, and it doesn't have to be, if this is something that you agree on, it doesn't have to be the footprint. This was our idea. You have two kids' parks that are down at 16th Street right now, one that is brand new and one that is very underutilized. It has 2 swings in it, and it has just a slide that's there. That natural body, right now it's 59 foot wide by 50 foot deep. At its deepest point, you can push it to be 100 foot deep and follow the natural contours of the walkway. It would also include 3 mature trees that would be inside of a dog park. It would give adults the ability to bring their animals to the park. And if their children are playing baseball or soccer or anything that's going there, it gives them the ability to bring their dog to the park, sit there and watch their kids practice, and have something for their dogs to do. This was Pack 27's idea. Denny, you guys, would you like to say anything? Anybody? Alex? Go ahead. Okay.
I would like to thank you guys for adhering to this. You guys didn't have to do this, but you decided to do it. It takes up your time, but you decided to help us out by letting us do this. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your community service and what you have done for this community. Thank you if you let us put a dog park. We have noticed that many people have let their dogs in the park, and many people have gotten hurt from these dogs. So thank you if you let us put a dog park.
I know how you guys have put the no dog sign on the tennis courts and the volleyball courts and the pickleball courts. That is where most of the dog owners used to let their dogs run around. And since that, there's been no place for their dogs to run around. So we have wondering about a dog park.
Thank
Mr.
you so
Frank,
much.
anything else?
I think anybody else?
Okay, sure.
I've experienced this because when me, my dad, and my sister were playing tennis, we usually always do that. So my friend John, he came out, let his dog loose. We were playing with him. Then the dog started chasing me.
Oh,
I
wow.
fell and chipped my tooth.
Oh, wow. Wow. I'm sorry
So
to
I
hear
think we
that.
should really have a dog park so people don't get hurt and the dogs have space to play in 16th Street Park.
Right, and they don't go into tennis courts then, right? So, when you're playing tennis. So, Mr. Frank, our Public Works Director is not here. He's usually here
Okay.
today. But we're going to tell them the message, and even though you might have a proposed place, we'd love to see it.
Yep.
But usually we have to have our engineers look at it first and see if it
100%.
fits. There's liability issues and things like that they'll go over. But I think I could speak on behalf of my colleagues that I think it's a great idea, something that 16th Street Park does not have. And the parks are near and dear to the council's heart. We've done almost every park in town over since the mayor has come to office. And that's one of the things I'm very proud of, that we have, 40-something parks, I think, and we're getting close to completion. I don't know the exact amount, but we're close. So this would be a great addition, And I gotta congratulate all you, because that's a great idea that you guys came up with, and we love the fact that you're getting involved in your community. If you want to present us with the petition, we'd love to see it.
Absolutely.
And real quick, if I can interject before you petition, I just want to say one thing. I look at the young scouts and I get very proud when I see you young men out here getting involved, because I used to be a Boy Scout.
Me too.
So I think
was
it's
a Cub
pretty
Scout, Boy Scout, Weeblo.
And Camp Lewis is one of my favorite places,
Yeah.
so just to let you know.
Great place.
I thank you to these young gentlemen. I know it's very difficult to get up in public and speak, and you did it perfectly. You had your points ready to go. You were probably more convincing than most. And the 16th Street Park is shared between myself and the council woman from the second ward. And I know we'll fight over which side of the park to put this on.
I think we could maybe make this a joint effort, and I believe Suzanne Mack has some comments for you, so maybe she has some great
This
words
is
of
our-
wisdom.
Good morning.
Our city planner.
It's so nice to see you all come out. It's so cold. It was very nice of you all. It was very nice of you to come. I just wanted to tell you that the city council, linking the dots, is having a public hearing February 7th, which is our next caucus, and we're about to put the notice up, which I'd like to give to you. It's on our city website. But we're talking about doing improvements to 16th Street Park. The dog park is not in it. We would have to really have the information immediately. But I think if the council really can do something in 3 days type of thing, if not this year, but next year, but we still
Well-
could consider it.
Well, I
Miss-
think the councilman and I
Yeah.
could
Figure
make
something
that.
out.
Yeah,
I'll tell you
we
what,
can
I'll-
make that happen.
Yeah.
I'll take
But-
the
but
blame
I'm-
for this one, being a teacher. I'm going to give you homework,
Right.
okay? Would you all put together an email with pictures of the proposed area, the dimensions you spoke about? I know you've just handed the petition. If there's a digital copy, you want to put that all in one email. We can then, and attach all of us,
As
we
little-
can then
as little-
forward it on.
Just whatever you have, whatever you have.
Whenever you have a digital copy of the petition, if you'd like.
No, we don't need the petition.
Now that we
Petition's-
have this, that's
We'll
fine.
put that in. We'll
Petition's
add
not
it.
important.
And when and if it happens, if I can have my own hat like that one, I'll wear it the day
Yes.
we cut the ribbon, all right? I make that promise.
And we'll have you all come back for the ribbon cutting.
This is, has been kind of our mascot for the,
Just to follow up, I mean, for your troop to come out tonight, and I thought I heard the council all say this was a wonderful idea. We do need some details, and then you would have to go onto the website and say, we really think this is a very good idea, but I would be happy to work on it over the weekend if we could just get a little information, and if the board feels, the council feels it would be important to include.
Absolutely.
It's tight timing, but everything, you go on the city's website, but.
I have the pictures already and I have the dimensions. So
That-
I can send it to you.
That's great.
And Tom's not here, but I did give him the flyer. I just think it's such a nice idea, if we could
It's a great
include
idea.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
If we can include
wonderful.
it, we will.
Okay.
We'll do it anyway, but if we can get it done right away.
All right, thank you, Sue. All right, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. Frank. Take care. Bye, guys.
Stay warm.
Ms. Ritchie?
Hi, good
How
evening.
are
My
you?
name is Jaslena. I'm a resident of Bayonne. I'm coming from Brooklyn, and just to piggyback, the parks are beautiful. So just to congratulate you on the work on the parks. So I currently live at 175 West 7th Street in Bayonne, which is right next to the bridge, the entrance of the Bayonne Staten Island Bridge. We moved there December 1st and paid our deposit, first month's rent, everything like that. December 17th was the first rainstorm where I suppose it rained sideways. We had rain coming from 2 individual windows in our bedroom. When that happened, it was around maybe 11 at night or so. I'm frantically calling the number for the building. I'm coming from another building here in Bayonne. They have 24-hour super, so I'm thinking this building, luxury, has the same thing. I'm calling, no response. So my partner and I had to lay towels on the floor across the windowsill on both windows. We had to move our bed forward, had to move my desk forward and all my electronics back to get away from this rain that was coming from the inside. The next day, I'm calling frantically again. I finally get somebody. I said, excuse me, last night's storm caused rain to fall into our apartment on our things. Can we please have somebody come and assist? That fell on that's ears or whatever that's saying. And nobody came to help. Nobody came to the rescue. I have photos, I have everything of the buckets of water that we collected from the sill. A couple of days later, same thing happened, and this time, our super, who we are friends with, I walked around the building and I found him, actually, and I said, hey, can you please come and look at this? He took it upon himself, he came, he said, I'm so sorry, but this is something that has to be handled by the, I guess, contractors who put the windows up. This is not something that I can take care of, but I will come and try to seal. He did so, from the goodness of his heart. From the goodness of his heart, great. Mind you, I just want to mention that the super or the management, like he worked independently. The management did not contact and say, I'm so sorry, we're going to send somebody. It's because I found the super myself and he came. Couple of days later, same thing happened. But by that time, the super quit. Okay, so now we have nobody in the building. We were not alerted.
Is it still leaking?
Till this day.
Okay.
Till this day. And I just want to say to you that I'm a very vocal person. I'm not sure if you can tell. I found my neighbors. And I said, excuse me, are you having trouble in your apartment? They're like, yes, we are. Found another neighbor. Excuse me, are you having trouble in your apartment? Yes, we are. We ended up finding maybe 10 individual couples from 10 different apartments that are having various issues relating to
175 West 7th
175 West 7th Street.
That's the new construction.
Okay?
Yeah.
We then, so my partner's in the kitchen. He's like, I think I hear somebody speaking about leaks in your apartment. Threw on my clothes. I ran down the hallway. I found this person. Her name is Tiffany. Apparently, Tiffany is the manager of Paola, who in the beginning we were communicating with about security deposits, right? So Tiffany, I'm like, Tiffany, excuse me. I live in 310. I said, our building, our apartment is leaking. She says, oh, the building's settling. All new buildings do this. And so the windows, you know, the metal's bending.
That's not true at all.
I sat back and I said, okay. I said, so can you tell me when someone's going to come and fix this? Oh, we're going to get our contractor who's in another building in Plainfield. This was last week. He's going to come. He's going to come with a boom. He's going to push the windows in. He's going to seal the windows all up. Fast forward, I just want to tell you, yesterday, okay, one of my neighbors, we all got together, all of us together. We were able to inspect all of our neighbors' apartments, so we each went into everybody's apartment, took several videos. I just want to tell you, y'all will be stunned. Mushrooms are growing from the windowsill, okay? The apartment below me, which is 210, you would not believe your eyes. The water is up to here.
Wow.
You'll see the stains. Okay, they already started cutting drywall. There's mold growing on the drywall. It's not good, and there's no solution. So I came down today to let y'all know what is going
So
on.
what we're going to do is we're going to have Mr. Skillender, who's our Director of Planning and Zoning. He's going to go and have somebody inspect it, and we're going to get after that management company to fix it. But he'll explain a little bit more.
Well, so, Councilman LaPalooza, yesterday, I did go myself personally with Joe Bankert, who our building code construction official, and again, we toured the building for what was it, hour and a half, 2 hours. So we have the list of all the different issues, and you know, Mr. Bankert is investigating it right now. We did contact the property owner and developer to let him know. He did not return. While he did speak to Mr. Bankert, he said he would follow up with him in the afternoon. He did not. So, you know, we're going to probably meet at the site on it, but this is a main top priority for Joe Bankert and the building department, again, to address all these issues. And yeah, she is right. There is mushrooms growing out of the ceiling.
Yeah, there's no excuse for a brand-new construction as well.
Yeah.
You know.
Thank you.
But we will stay after it.
Okay.
Who will be in touch with her?
It's
Joe?
It's Joe Bankert.
That's our building department. So somebody
Yeah.
from the building department will stay on top of this and force them to come down and make those repairs.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Yeah, and again, we are aware of what's going on with it. We do have the PowerPoint presentation that one of her neighbors prepared. It's very lengthy, but because also violations are imminent on it too, I don't want to go into some of the specifics before the court handles
Do
it.
you have her contact information?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. We're sorry for all that's happening to you.
Well, y'all didn't know, but you're doing
No, I know. You're very welcome.
Mr. Grimes?
Good evening, Council. My name is Edward Grimes. I'm with sativacross.org. We're a 501c3 here in Bayonne, fighting for disability rights and cannabis patients' rights. Thank you for doing the traffic study on 49th and Broadway. That's step one to getting a light, and it's a very important light. And I'm asking for a talking traffic light, a light that says wait, wait, and it's an ADA compliant light for for blind people that helps them across the street. So I was driving down the street the other day because somebody reached out to me. A blind person reached out to me, but I lost their message. I couldn't find their message. I went back through all my messages and all my videos. I couldn't find this person. So I'm driving down the street on Broadway, and I see a guy with the long stick, a blind guy walking down the street. I said, well, right here. I said, let me pull over. I pull over. I said, hey, by any chance, are you the guy that reached out to me about getting the light for the blind people? He said, yeah, that was me. That's me, Lefty. I'm like, wait, you look familiar. You're Jimmy, right? He's like, yeah, I'm Jimmy. I said, oh, Jimmy. I said, we went to school together at St. Mary's. I haven't seen you in 40 years. I was like, oh, man. So I didn't get a chance to talk to him about what happened. But when I went to school with him in St. Mary's, he wasn't blind. He could see. So something happened in the past 40 years that made Jimmy go blind. So that could happen to any one of us at any time, including being in the wheelchair. So my question is, this light that's going up on Avenue A, can that possibly, if it is, great, but if it's not, can it possibly be an ADA compliant light that's a talking light that says wait, wait, it helps blind people? Can we, I mean, I'm a taxpayer in Bayonne, I don't mind putting 5 on that. That's good money right there.
I'd have to look into that. I don't know cost and whether something's been ordered already. But moving forward, we'll take a look at that and see if, from now on, if any new light comes in, maybe we can incorporate that.
Do you know how much that would be? A talking light, how much that would?
No, that's what I'm saying to you. I have no idea.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I'm surprised
No.
that traffic lights are $500,000. I didn't know.
Oh, yeah, that's $500,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big
And there's a
bill.
lot of DOT approvals and things like that, too.
Yep.
involved. You know how long it took to get Avenue C done. So.
Yeah,
Yep.
but it's worth it now. It's a lot safer now. And I know those signs are missing right now because of the snow plows, those little stop for pedestrian signs. A lot of them are away. But the one on 49th and Broadway has been missing since like October. So if they can put that one back whenever they do them. My other question was wheelchair accessibility to the schools. I recently took my scooter to Washington School to vote, and I noticed there's only one wheelchair accessible entrance in Washington School. Also, Bayonne High School, there's only one wheelchair accessible entrance around the back. If we could put, we don't have to put every entrance wheelchair accessible, maybe just another one somewhere so it's safer for like a fire hazard, so that people are safe in the event of an emergency where there's, especially Bayonne High School, you got all those steps in the front. They could find a place to put a ramp in the front there across, I forget what they call it, but a crossover ramp like that. That's something I could put 5 on too. I don't mind. So again, thanks guys, appreciate it.
You got it.
Okay, moving on. 08 is an ordinance of the City of Bayonne adopting the redevelopment plan for the property located at 431-437 Broadway, 11-13 West 19th, and 10-12 West 20th Street, which property is identified as Block 220, lots 18, 23, 24, 25, and 26, as shown on the official tax map of the city, and a resolution fixing Wednesday, February 14th, and the Dorothy E. Harrington Council Chambers as a time and place for a public hearing and final passage.
Move it.
Second.
And on that resolution, Mr. Booker. Aye. Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
09 is an ordinance approving the 5-year tax financial agreement by and between the City of Bayonne and 673-675 Avenue E LLC for the property located at 673-675 Avenue E and is identified as Block 94, Lot 18. And a resolution fixing Wednesday, February 14th, in the Dorothy E. Harrington Council Chambers as a time and place for a public hearing.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
And on that resolution, Mr. Booker. Mr. Carroll. Mr. Perez. Ms. Weimer. Mr. La Palusa?
Aye.
10 is an ordinance amending and supplementing the revised general ordinances, Chapter 33, Planning and Development Regulations, and Chapter 35, Zoning Regulations, and a resolution fixing Wednesday, February 14th, in the Dorothy and Harrington Council Chambers as a time and place for a public hearing and final passage.
Move it.
Second.
And on that resolution, Mr. Booker. Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez. Ms. Weimer. Ms. Weimer. Aye. Mr. La Palusa?
Aye.
11 is an ordinance amending, supplementing the revised general ordinances of the City of Bayonne, Chapter 33, Planning and Development Regulations, and a resolution fixing Wednesday, February 14th, and the Dorothy Harrington Council Chambers as a time and place for a public hearing and final passage.
Move it.
Second.
And on that resolution, Mr. Booker. Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez. Ms. Weimer. Mr. La Palusa?
Aye.
12 is also amending Chapter 33, Planning and Development Regulations.
Move it.
And second.
Second.
And on that resolution, Mr. Booker.
Excuse me, quick question. Can I get a little clarification on this ordinance here?
Yes,
This is
the short-term
rentals, Airbnb and all.
Talking 012?
So,
Can we move it till?
Yeah, it's about regulating Airbnbs.
yeah,
And-
it's 60 days or less, 60 days maximum per calendar year, and there's registration fees of $1,000 and $750 renewal. They have to have $500,000 liability insurance, and there is a permit needed through planning and zoning. Sorry.
I
He
would,
said.
Mr. Coffey, I would ask too, so zoning is going to govern this?
We don't need Joe.
So this ordinance will govern this.
Obviously, but if there's someone that's in an infraction, how then would we know?
It's a zoning violation.
The zoning violation. So I guess, let me put a finer point on it. What is the mechanism through which we find out someone has gone over 60 days or that they have not met the requirements after they've applied? They've applied, they've met, now they've gone to 70 days.
Well, I can tell you, based on my experience, nearby homeowners are the greatest source of information.
Yes. So,
And then disgruntled tenants are the second greatest source of information. And then disgruntled landlords, when they can't get rid of these people, are the third greatest source of information. It's almost self-policing. The initial police work will be done online because we can go online right now to the various VRBOs and BRB. There is no shortage of advertisements for these short-term rentals. It's pretty easy to discern where they are, who the landlord is. They will look you right in the eye and say, no, 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 that's not that apartment. And you have to say, I'm sorry, you're lying. Here's a little ticket. We'll see you in court.
yeah. So part of that, again, with the process of what we're looking to implement here, similar to Newark and Jersey City, there will be an application that, again, the property owner has to identify themselves that they want a short-term rental permit. If they do go beyond the 60 days, again, just as Director Coffey mentioned, look, the self-police, anytime there's a complaint and that's substantiated for a violation, we send them a notice of violation, and then if there's a fine that attached to that, it's up to $2,000 per violation, and they won't be able to use the property for a short-term rental.
And the first thing you're going to look for is the permit, obviously.
Exactly.
Right.
So there will be a whole process in place where the city will be issuing these, short-term rental permits. And again, we're putting this in front of the council because it's our view that the short-term rentals for our zoning ordinance are switching the use. You're taking residential, single-family, two-family homes that are, again, geared towards more long-term, people establishing their residencies here, and now converting them into hotels for, short term. We understand that they're here. This is regulating it. It's not an outright prohibition, but again, it's giving homeowners, again, the flexibility if they need to, if it's a short, 1 month, say that they're out of the city, that they can have at least another source of income. But this is meant to also prohibit if you just have people that are just buying these as investment properties and Airbnb-ing them out.
So it is owner occupied required?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, thank you for that. The reason why I asked, I wanted some clarification, because also a lot of residents in town are aware of the Airbnbs, and the neighbors, like Mr. Coffey said, they're your best source of figuring out. So I wanted anyone that's watching the meeting or informed about this, that they get the right answers, so no one's just complaining about Airbnbs.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And again, we thought about this at length. It also allows us to, again, to inspect properties, to make sure that they're up to code from health, fire safety perspectives, that otherwise we normally wouldn't be able to. So there's a whole process that allows us to, again, make sure that the residents of Bayonne are protected, there's safe buildings, but at the same point too, if there is a true property owner that needs just a short-term, to rent out their property, they can.
And Director Skillender, those fines and associated fees have all been laid out, and that's,
Yes.
and has been put to paper, and they will.
It's in the ordinance for it, again, very similar to how Newark and Jersey City
Yep.
drafted their ordinances. They had some lawsuits on that the courts vetted, the cities won in that regard, so that's why I felt it very appropriate to put in front of you a very similar ordinance that I think can stand the test of a court challenge.
Thank you for that.
One last question. Is there any element of that resolution that includes a provision for revoking their license in the event of X number of complaints?
Yes.
Infractions?
If they have any violations, they won't be able to renew it, and we will be able to revoke it. Even upon the sale of a house that has a short-term rental permit, the new owner would have to apply. Well, not reapply, but the new owner would have to apply initially. We would take that as consideration. So we looked at for the application fees as separate. So it's a $1,000 application fee for initial, and it's a $750 annual renewal fee.
All right, so there's the fees attached for annual renewal, and those infractions that merit a revocation include any police presence that has to be called to the scene because Airbnbers caused an issue or a scene?
It is if there's a complaint for, from anything from, noise, garbage, parking.
Thank you.
Okay, who'd like to move it?
Move it.
And on that resolution, Mr. Booker.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
013 is an ordinance amending and supplementing the revised general ordinances of the City of Bayonne, Chapter 33, Planning and Development Regulations, and a resolution fixing Wednesday, February 14th at 6 p.m. in the Dorothy E. Harrington Council Chambers as a time and place for public hearing and final passage.
Move it.
Second.
And on that resolution, Mr. Booker.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
014 also amends Chapter 33, Planning and Development Regulations, and a resolution fixing Wednesday, February 14th at 6 p.m. in the Dorothy E. Harrington Council Chambers as a time and place for public hearing and final passage.
So moved.
And on that resolution, Mr. Booker.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
015 is amending and supplementing the revised general ordinances, Chapter 7, Traffic, and it's a resolution fixing Wednesday, February 14th, and at 6 p.m. in the Dorothy E. Harrington Council Chambers as a time and place for public hearing. This is for loading zones.
Move it.
Second.
And on that resolution, Mr. Booker.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
016 is amending Chapter 7, and it is for restrictive parking zones.
So moved.
And on the resolution, Mr. Booker. Aye. Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez. Ms. Weimer.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
Consent resolutions is moved by the council as a whole. It is a resolution ordering the following communications to be received and filed. It covers C1 through C6. Any questions on the communications? And on the communications, Mr. Booker.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
Officers' reports is moved by the council as a whole. It's a resolution ordering the following officers' reports to be received and filed, and any resolutions incorporated within to be adopted. It covers OR 1 through OR 3. Any questions on the officers' reports? And on the officers' reports, Mr. Booker.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
Consent resolutions is moved by the council as a whole, ordering the following resolutions to be adopted. It covers CR 1 through CR 23. Any questions on the consent resolutions? And on that, Mr. Booker.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
R1 is a resolution moved by the council president authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute an agreement with Richard N. Campusano for professional legal services to act as a zoning board attorney in connection with developers for a period of 1 year commencing January 1st, 2024. Mr. Perez, will you second?
Second.
And on R1, Mr. Booker.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa. He stepped out. R2 is...
On R2, I think the blurb that we have isn't actually reflective. Is it okay if I read in what it actually should say, just for notice purposes? It's a resolution of the Municipal Council of the City of Bayonne, County of Hudson, New Jersey, designated 28-34 East 22nd Street, identified as Block 212, lots 30, 31, and 32, within the City of Bayonne's official tax map as a non-condemnation area needed redevelopment pursuant to the local redevelopment and housing law, NJSA 40A:12A1 at sequential, and authorizing the preparation of a redevelopment plan for the property. I think the blurb says it's sending it over for a preliminary investigation. The investigation was already done.
Okay, then the resolution needs to be changed. That's the one you changed also, Jay?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just sent you the revised resolution by email a couple seconds ago, but the blurb didn't match the, what the resolution should say, because that was actually previously done. They already did the preliminary study.
And who would like to move it?
So moved.
Second.
And on that resolution, Mr. Booker. Aye. Mr. Carroll.
I tend to worry about these things, but I looked at this and was able to study it. This area has several hundred-year-old buildings on it, but it is a thin, very small area, and I would just caution, when these things come back around or when this area is looked at again, to guard for what's going to go there potentially, because it's a very unique area, but I understand that it would probably be less feasible to rehab 100-year-old buildings, and in this case, I can understand it.
Well, that'd be the case when the rehabilitation plan comes back. That's when you'd be able to say,
Right.
not accepting that.
And your vote, Mr. Carroll?
I voted aye.
And Mr. Perez?
Aye.
Ms. Weimer?
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa?
Aye.
R3 is, what we got, authorizing the conditional designation of 1012-1022 Holdings LLC as redeveloper of the property located at 1012-1022 Avenue C, 53-57 West 48th Street, and identified as Block 64, Lots 2 and 3 on the official tax map of the City of Bayonne, and authorizing an execution of an interim cost agreement.
Move it.
Second.
And on the resolution, Mr. Booker. Aye. Mr. Carroll. Aye. Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
R4 is authorizing the conditional designation with R-Cube Realty LLC as redeveloper of the property located at 63-97 West 23rd Street and identified as Block 194, Lots 1 and 2 on the official tax map of the City of Bayonne, and authorizing the execution of an interim cost agreement.
Move it.
Second.
And on that resolution, Mr. Booker. Aye. Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
R5 is authorizing the conditional designation of 2434 East 22nd LLC as the redeveloper of the property located at 28, it should be 2834, I'm sorry, 28-34 East 22nd Street and identified as Block 212, Lots 30, 31, 32, as shown on the official tax map, and authorizing the execution of an interim cost agreement.
Mr. Maselli, did you want to add something?
Yeah, I just want to, so the entity should be 2834 East 22 LLC.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what's in the resolution,
Just at least two.
It's at
The
East 22,
dash,
right?
you're taking the hyphen out?
you're taking the hyphen out.
And it's 2834 East 22 LLC.
See.
Yeah, just want to make sure that the reso has the right.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Who'd like to move it?
I'll move.
Second.
And on the resolution, Mr. Booker.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
R6 is authorizing and directing the Planning Board of the City of Bayonne to conduct a preliminary investigation to determine whether certain property located at 102.5-112 Avenue E, 114-116 Avenue E, which is identified as Block 380, Lots 12.B, Block 467, Lots 11 and 14 respectively, which the city constitutes, within the city constitutes a non-condemnation area in need of redevelopment pursuant to the local redevelopment and housing law, and authorizing the preparation of a redevelopment plan for the said property. Would like to move it.
Move it.
Second.
And on that resolution, Mr. Booker.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Can I get a little bit of clarification as to where exactly this is on Avenue E? Is this 16th? 17th? Where is this?
This is 14th Street. This is next to 90 Avenue 8, the one that, no, this is, yes.
Is this the other side of that man's house?
No, this is on the north side. This is on the south side.
Yeah, it's up a little bit further.
Further, yes.
Up.
It's several
I'm sorry,
pieces.
What
Yeah.
property are we?
So that was the old man in the little greenhouse. Then there's the property we had all the kerfuffle about at 2 meetings ago.
Yes.
Then there's this one?
This is north of the property.
This is further north of that?
Yes.
I'm trying to pull it up in my mind because I didn't receive paperwork on it. What exists there now?
There's a couple
Empty
of empty
lots.
lots.
Couple of empty lots and three or four two-family homes.
Yeah.
Um,
That are 100-plus years old.
You know where the Beelans lived, by any chance?
Dealers. Yeah.
This is what, Miss Mack?
This is,
This is the estate of the Beelin parents who passed away this summer. This is the estate. It's listed as an estate. So 90, not to, just to.
It's actually that, and the property
Yeah,
to the north is owned
to
by
the
somebody
north.
else.
Yes, so, but this is just north of 90, which was owned by Noah Friedman, and you did approve an area need study several months ago, and then that property was flipped. So this is the property just north of that, and then, as Jay said and Mr. Skillinger said, 2 more properties to the north, and then you have Silk Lofts.
yeah. And again, the request from this came from the property owner, or from the
The
executrix of the estate.
In the interest of taking a look at its results when it comes back, I'll vote aye on this, but that neighborhood, as a result of that issue that we had here, has given me pause. So I want to be very, very clear about any goings-on in that part of town.
And I would
And
like-
you'll stick with me on that, you'll give me all the information, brief me, and make sure I know
will
the
make sure
details.
That the.
I actually think that this takes up all of the rest of the residential properties
Yeah.
from there to where,
So Silk Lawn.
Silk
Mer-
Lofts.
to Silk Lofts, yeah. That's it.
That's
Like,
it, yeah.
there's,
There's nothing else.
you're 90, the individual that was bothered by 90 Avenue E is the last one. Oh, no, but it's the last, well, yeah, when you look at the two-family properties that, to the left of that are owned by somebody else, to the north of that,
Yeah,
I think it does bring you all the way up to
'Cause
the
it's-
edge of the Silk Lofts.
The southern edge of the Silk Loft.
Yeah. Because I think it's what, Southern, it's Silk Lofts, and then it's J&J Builders are in between, and then this property?
Yeah.
So like, there's, yeah.
There's no other residential property in the way at that point. There's no one to bother, Neil.
But I just want to also point out, because I've already looked at it, this is also a TOD area. So, we have two-family houses there, which are lovely. I mean, lovely that's what we've had there before, but anybody can come in by right under the TOD and put in 5 stories. So this gives us an opportunity to actually look at it with your comments that you've made on other projects and have something that has the appropriate setbacks, side yards, and other issues. So I also asked some questions when it came up, but
Thank you.
I'm comfortable with that one. Thank you.
Mr. Perez?
Aye.
Ms. Weimer?
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa?
Aye.
R7 is awarding a contract for the purchase of 2 Glutton electric waste vacuum cleaners or equivalent from Joe Johnson Equipment LLC for the bid price of $63,800. They need somebody to move it.
Move it.
And a second?
Second.
And on that resolution, Mr. Booker? Aye. Mr. Carroll?
Aye.
Mr. Perez?
Aye.
Ms. Weimer?
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa?
Aye.
R8 is awarding a contract to Hudson Health Employees Assistance LLC for professional mental health services to provide employee assistant mental health services for a period of 1 year commencing January 18, 2018 through December 31st, 2024, for an amount not to exceed $36,000.
So move.
On that resolution, Mr. Booker. Aye. Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez. Aye. Ms. Weimer.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
R9 is authorizing the execution of an agreement with Stack Houlihan and Stack for expert real estate appraisal services for a period of 1 year commencing January 18, 2024 through December 31st for an amount of payable for $120,000 at a rate of $8,500 per month, with the 4-year, 1-year option for renewal.
Move it.
Second.
And on that resolution, Mr. Booker. Aye. Mr. Carroll. Aye. Mr. Perez. Aye. Ms. Weimer.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
R10 is also an agreement with Integrated Microsystems, Inc. for information technology maintenance, support, and procurement consulting services for a period of 1 year commencing January 18th through December 31st, 2024, for an amount not to exceed $240,000.
Move it.
Second.
And on that resolution, Mr. Booker. Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez. Aye. Ms. Weimer.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
R12 is an agreement with John L. Shestito for professional legal services to act as the rent control board attorney for a period of 1 year commencing January 18th for an amount not to exceed $15,000.
That was, it's 40,000. Yeah.
Now it's 40,000. Would like to move it.
Second.
And on that resolution, Mr. Booker. Aye. Mr. Carroll. Aye. Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
R13, nope, R12, is an agreement with McManaman, Scotland and Bauman LLC for professional legal services to act as special bond counsel on behalf of the city for a period of 1 year commencing January 18th for an amount not to exceed $120,000.
So move. Second.
And on the resolution, Mr. Booker. Aye. Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
R13 is an agreement with McManus, Scotland and Bauman LLC for professional legal services as special redevelopment and land use counsel in connection with the redevelopers and developers for a period of 1 year, commencing January 18th, for a contract amount not to exceed $150,000.
So move.
Second.
On that one, Mr. Booker.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
And I have a couple of add-ons. Add 1 is an agreement with John Polovich for professional engineering services to act as a municipal traffic engineer for the professional engineering service to act as traffic engineer, which is the duplicate sentence, on behalf of the city for a period of 1 year commencing January 18th for a total contract amount not to exceed $20,000. Just need to make sure that was right.
Second.
And on that resolution, Mr. Booker. Aye. Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
2 is also agreement with John Polovich for professional engineering services to act as a municipal engineer in connection with developers and redevelopments for a period of 1 year, commencing January 1st through December 31st, 2024, for a contract amount not to exceed $50,000.
So move.
And on that resolution, Mr. Booker. Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez. Ms. Weimer.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
And 3 is designated McManus, Scotland and Bauman, Jason Lamparello, Malone and Capuzzo, Florio Kenny and Raval, Dorkin and Dorkin LLC, and Rudderman and Roth as qualified panel counsel for a period of 1 year commencing January 18, 2024, pursuant to the fair and open process.
So moved.
And second?
Second.
And on the resolution, Mr. Booker.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
And 4 is an agreement with Consulting and Municipal Engineers LLC, which does doing business as CME Associates, for professional licensed site remediation for an amount not to exceed $50,000.
So move.
And on the resolution, Mr. Booker.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Perez.
Aye.
Ms. Weimer.
Aye.
Mr. La Palusa.
Aye.
I have nothing else.
You have anything else?
Oh, Sue has.
Oh, yeah, sure. Ms. Mack, our city planner?
Yes, and I'm sorry I didn't ask to be on the agenda. I just wanted, you all were so kind to me last week by agreeing to have the Green Acres public hearing at the caucus next week instead of tonight. As you know, there were things going on. So I just wanted to hand you, well, this is on the website already, thanks to Joe Ryan, and also Jay Coffey, who reviewed it 14 times for us in order to get it right. What I wanted to say was that part of this whole process with Green Acres, they've changed it. It's a lot of social engagement. So the fact that we are announcing this tonight is part of our social engagement requirement. I also want to thank Ahmed Lack, who is our planning commissioner, who prepared these for us, on his own, which is very kind of him. But I just wanted to say that if we could just acknowledge for the public, this is on the city's website. This is for 2 parks in the city of Bayonne. One is under Jake's Law, which is allowing for handicap accessible playgrounds, and the other is for an expansion of the walkway at 16th Street Park, which, as you know, our Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts just came and asked, and so if I can actually get something from them in the next few days, I can get it on. This is on the website now, but legally, it would be anything from next Tuesday on that would count. And also, I have a call with them tomorrow morning. I'm going to ask them to say, if somebody makes a comment, they want a dog park, can I then add it? So I'll have that clarified during the day tomorrow. And then the final piece relies on us having some conversations with Donna Russo, who I believe Mr. Reichel has sent some letters about closing out some of the other grants. That has to be done also in order for us to apply.
And we appreciate your presentations always, so
Well, I'm sorry.
We're looking forward to this on the 7th, though.
Well, I'm looking forward to allowing us to apply, because as I said, we applied last year, and because we had projects from 2008, all the parks that they said we couldn't have, that counted against us, we're all enjoying. Halecki, Rakowski, Harborview, and we couldn't close them out because of Tidelands, and Tidelands was their issue, not ours. So through, again, Mr. Coffey and Mr. Reichel and Ms. Russo, we were able to finally get those issues resolved. So now we can go back to applying, and it's been a source of $2 or $3 million a year for our parks. And as Council President LaPalooza says, parks are very important to us.
Very, very important. Thank you very much, Sue. Thank you.
And with nothing
Is there
else,
anything else? Make a motion to close the hearing?
Move.
and actually, you are adjourning to the meeting of February 7th.
Adjourning, okay.
Yes.
So we'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Yes. And on that resolution, Mr. Booker. Mr. Carroll. Mr. Perez. Ms. Weimer. Mr. La Palusa.
Aye. Good night, everybody.
Good night.